DreAllDay.com.
You are now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, including yourself, him, her, and them, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, mindset, philosophy, show. There is a book on the subject. If you didn't know, get it at workonyourgamebook.com. And this masterclass right here comes out every day. It is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is how to make a plan. Now, just yesterday, I hopefully sold you on the idea of making plans. For those of you who already had plans, maybe I reinvested you into making plans. And those of you who have never made a plan, you were like me, and you just felt like you were skilled enough, talented enough, resourceful enough to just figure things out along the way, just as you went along. Just figure it out as it comes. Hopefully I sold you on the idea of investing some of your time into planning. But your question may have been, well, all right, what the hell do I do now? All right, I know I need to make a plan, and maybe you have some rough version of a plan, but you're not sure that plan even makes sense. Today, I'm gonna talk about how to make the plan. I'm gonna tell you how to actually begin with this. So since I've already sold you on the concept of planning, we don't need that much introduction. Let's just get right into it. Point number one, the topic once again, is how to make a plan. Number one, first thing you must do when it comes to your plan is decide what your long-term goal is. Where are you actually going to make your plan? That's the first thing. So point A, you can just make a little dot on the page. That's where you are right now. And point B or point Z, whatever you want to call it, the outcome, the goal, is where you actually want to get. How would you know that you have completely executed your plan? What needs to be achieved? What is the end result of your plan? So for example, if you have a startup company, the end result might be selling the company. Or if you have a startup company and let's say you don't want to sell it, you just want to grow it and get it to a certain level and then maybe pass it off to your kids or maybe pass it off to your successor while you maintain a certain level of ownership so you can still make money from it. Whatever that end goal is, if you're a basketball player and you're not even on your JV team right now, your end goal might be to get a college scholarship, and you get that, you feel like you have executed your plan. Whatever it is, you're a basketball player in the NBA, your goal might be you want to make it to the Hall of Fame, or you just want to win a championship this year. Maybe you just want to become a starter. Whatever the plan is, and those could be points all along the line to where you want to get to, but you got to decide what is the end goal for this particular plan. What is the end game? How will I know that I've actually executed my plan properly? Where do I need to get to? You must know what your long-term goal is. Now that you got that knocked out, the way that you're going to make your plan is by working backwards. You're basically connecting the dots from where you want to be, the outcome, back to where you are now. So when people don't know where to start with a plan, this is where you begin. First, you ask yourself what the long-term outcome is. Then, looking at the long-term outcome, not where you are now, but looking at the long-term outcome, this is the question that you're going to start asking yourself. And you're going to keep asking yourself this question over and over again until you're back to where you are now. All right, so you're looking at, so let's just, to make this a little bit more understandable so I don't lose you here, let's say where you are right now is 1. All right, you're at point 1, but the goal is point 100, okay? So the way you're going to make your plan is you're going to look at point 100, where you want to be, and you're going to ask yourself this question. What would need to be true for me to be at point 100? Then you're going to get an answer to that question. For example, you could say, for our basketball team to win the NBA championship, what would have to be true? Well, in order for a basketball team to make the championship, to win the championship, you had to be in the finals. And to be in the finals, you're going to have to win a couple playoff series. And to win a couple playoff series, you're probably going to have to make the playoffs. You can't win a series if you're not in the playoffs, which means you're going to have to win. To make the playoffs, let's just assume we're going to need to win at least a little bit over 50% of our games in the regular season. Now, in order for us to do that, what has to be true? That leads to, all right, well, we need to have this type of roster in place. We need to have this level of coaching. We need to do this type of training. We need to have these kind of accommodations when we travel on the road. This is the type of leadership we need to have for the team. These are the kind of people we need to get rid of. These are the things we need to stop doing in order to achieve this. So you just start working backwards and asking yourself, what would need to be true? If you were running a startup business and you want to sell your startup, what would need to be true? Well, this business needs to be it needs to be making X amount of dollars. We want to sell it for this much. So that means based on projections and what other companies in our industry have done, we need to have this much in revenue that we can prove year over year so that someone would be willing to purchase us. What else would we need to be true for that to be happening? Well, that means we need to acquire this many users in year one, this many users by year two, this many users by year three. What else would need to be true? We need to design this company to sell it, meaning we got to make sure that everything in here anyone can understand. We got to make sure we have very tight processes that anyone can follow. There need to be systems and standards in place that anyone can look at, completely understand, and they can start implementing them and using them even if the people who started the company, which is us, are no longer around. So then you start to keep working backwards. What do we have to have in place? What needs to be true for that to happen? Well, that means we need to document every single process. We need to have a plan for the processes, which means what else needs to be true? Which means we need to get some people around here who understand documentation and maybe they understand process. So maybe somebody with a 6 Sigma black belt, maybe we need to hire a few of them so they can make sure our processes are tight. But what else needs to be true? Well, we probably gonna need a legal team to make sure that our contracts are in place. So when somebody tries to acquire us, we got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. What else needs to be true? Which means, well, we need to actually go get ourselves some customers because to get all those people that we're talking about, we're gonna need to pay them and they're not gonna work for free. And if we ain't got no users and we don't have anybody paying, then we're not gonna be able to pay them. So maybe we need to go get some users, we need to get some customers. What else would need to be true? But once we get some customers, then maybe we can go to Silicon Valley and we can get some investors. We can get a Series A round of investing so we have some money that we can burn through while we're acquiring more customers and building out our infrastructure. Well, what else would need to be true? Well, we're probably gonna need to put together a business pitch, and it would probably be better if we got some customers first so that we go and ask for some money. We got some proof that this thing actually works and it's not just a theory. Well, what else would need to be true? Well, we need to create a minimum viable product so we can go and put this out to the market so we can get some users actually using it so we can get started doing what we're doing. So you see how you can just keep working backwards. You can just keep asking yourself that question. What would need to be true in order for this to be happening? And then you just work backwards from where you are. And if you need help with this, then go get with your trainer or your coach or your mentor or your boss or whomever you trust, someone that knows what they're doing, maybe has already done what you're doing, and just let them help you work backwards to what would need to be true in order for you to do what you're doing until you get to the exact point that you're at. So again, you're at point number 1, your outcome is point 100, right? So you keep asking yourself what needs to be true, you're working backwards. So you might get to 95, now you're at 87, now you're at 74, then you get to 60, now you're at 42, then you get to 38, so you get to 20, so you get to 19, so you get to 16, now you're at 10, 6, 4, 3, until you get to an action step that you can actually implement right now. That is the first step in your plan. So when you get down to 2, all right, you're at 1. All right, what do I need to do to get to 2? You just laid it out what you got to do. So what you just laid out what has to be true. All right, in order for me to do that, I will need to do these things. There may be little milestones in between point number 1 and point number 2. And then there are more milestones between point number 2 and 3, or between 3 and 7, and 7 and 15. So that's how you lay out your plan. So now for the next year, 6 months, 20 years, 50 years, the next 6 weeks, you know exactly what you need to be doing every single day. And anyone else on the team, they know where they can get in and fit in and actually help this plan work. This is the way that you create a plan. So let's say if you have a business idea, you want to make a full-time income from it, but right now you're at $0. You're not making anything right now. So what are you going to need? What needs to be true for you to make a full-time income? The only thing needs to be true is you need people paying you enough money that you have that full-time income, whatever that is, which means you need to have an offering that people will pay for, which means you need to know what people want, which means you might want to talk to some people so you can get some answers, which means you need to know who to talk to and what to ask, which means you need to know who you're helping, how you're helping them, and what you're helping them to do. So all you have to do is keep asking yourself this question, and you can use the phrase, if you don't want to say what would need to be true, you can also say, which means we're going to win the championship, which means we have to be in the finals, which means we have to make the playoffs, which means we got to win a good amount of regular season games, which means we're going to need some better players than what we had last year, because last year we didn't make the playoffs. So this is the way that you can make your plan. All you do is work backwards from where you were. Point number 2. Today's topic is how to make a plan. Number 2, parse your plan out by segments. What that means is parsing your plan out by segments is, I just kind of explained this when I talked about the little milestones in between points. That can be a timeline of, let's say, the calendar year, of the month, the week, or by time lapsed. So for example, after 1 month, we need to be here. After 1 week, we need to be here. Or on week 2 of our plan, we got to be here. Then you can gauge what you can do in each time period. So for example, if you're trying to build a business and you want to eventually sell your business, so you're trying to create a business from scratch and replace your full-time income with that business so that you can have a lifestyle business. You can say, all right, in the first year running this business, this is what I want to achieve. Or in the first week, we're going to do this. Or after 1 week, we want to have this thing accomplished. And then you can just gauge in each time period, this is what I can do, or this is what we want to get done. This is what I can do. This is what I'm going to commit to. And now you have a full plan for you to follow. Tony Robbins, I heard once say, people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. And it doesn't even have to be about a year or a decade. It could be somebody might overestimate what they can do in a week, or they overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a week. So this can apply to any small versus long time frames, because often in life as human beings, we get too caught up in the immediate returns on our actions, the immediate results of our actions, or that instant gratification of our actions. So we gauge or we guess that we can do all these things in a short period of time, but we don't really give ourselves enough credit for what we can do over a long period of time. Now I'm going to assume you're listening to this episode where I'm talking about planning, and that yesterday I sold you on the concept of planning. I'm going to assume that you are disciplined enough and mature enough past the point of only needing instant gratification in your life, which means for making plans, and we're talking long-term plans for real long-term results that will make real impact in your life, that you need to be thinking about, all right, what can I do over a long period? Not just what I'm going to do today or over the next 48 hours or this week even. What can I do this month? What can I do the next quarter? What can I do this upcoming year? Start focusing on those things and start parsing your plan out by segments. Okay, so if I'm going to do this in a month, here's what I'll do in week 1, week 2, week 3, and start parsing things out so that you have a plan. You know exactly what you're going to be working on 6 months from now based on your long-term goal that's going to take a year. Point number 3. Today's topic is how to make a plan. Since I told you yesterday's masterclass about why you want to make a plan, today I'm telling you how to make a plan. Point number 3, follow the damn plan. This is the third and maybe the most important step in the whole thing. No, I say making a plan is the most important step. Following the plan is right next to it though. All right, they're all actually tied. All right, following the plan is the next most important thing. Following your plan is the discipline and is also where you get actual results from making a plan. This is where things actually start to happen. This is where, as they say proverbially, the rubber meets the road, when an actual plan is followed. Again, making a plan is one thing, executing the plan is another thing. My business coach calls this no black ops. I didn't even know what black ops is, but the way he explained it is black ops is when there's some operation that the leg of some branch of the military is performing, but nobody knows about it. It is not on the plan. It is not scheduled. Nobody even knows it is going on. It's just is a black operation. You're not supposed to see it. You're not supposed to hear about it. You're not supposed to know about it. You might not even know about it until after it happens, if you even know about it then. And what he was explaining was that you don't want to be doing any black ops in your business. So once you make a plan, this is what you're going to be doing. This is where you're trying to go. This is what you're working on. Nothing is allowed to interrupt that plan, and you don't start introducing other things that you're going to do just because you decided, hey, I'm going to just divert from my plan. I'm going to work on this thing over here on the side that nobody needs to know about. No. Don't do that. Only focus on what is on the plan. So anything that you're going to be doing between now and the accomplishment of your plan needs to be in the plan. And any little fires that come up, if you need to make adjustments, then you need to adjust the entire plan. Don't just, let me just work on this and step away from the plan for 3 weeks. No, you need to adjust the whole plan if you're going to do that, or that thing that you were going to step away to do, put that on a list for a future plan, and you get to that when you get to it. But you got to follow your plan. This is especially true, everyone, when you are working within a team. If you are part of a team or you're the leader of a team, you can't just decide randomly that you're just going to do other things just because you decided I'm going to do something else. I just decided I'm going to step outside of whatever the plan is and just do something because I feel like doing it. Because now your team is going to be confused. Your coworkers will be confused. Your subordinates will be confused because you're not even doing your part of the plan. Everybody else is doing theirs. You're not doing yours. And there should be people on your team who are capable and empowered to hold you accountable for not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So follow your plan. Everyone should know when a plan is laid out properly, Everyone in the group should know what everyone else is responsible for doing, what everyone else is supposed to be doing, and when everyone else is doing what they're doing. And if someone's not they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they got to be held accountable for not doing it. Nobody should be diverging from the plan, whatever that plan happens to be. So once it's in place, that's the plan. That's the process. That's what everybody's working on. That's the way that it's going to go. Let's recap today's class, which is how to make a plan. So yesterday I told you why to have a plan, the value of planning. Now today I'm telling you how to actually do it. Now all you gotta do is actually execute. And if you listen to any episodes of this show on discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative, now all you gotta do is actually use those tools and actually put your plan together and then start working on it. Point number one, decide what your long-term goal is and work backwards from there. And just connect the dots from where you wanna be back to where you are now so that you have some immediate action steps. Point number two, parse your plan out by segments. So it could be, this is what I'll do this month, this is what I'll do this quarter, this is what we're gonna do this week, here's what I'm gonna do today. Tony Robbins said people overestimate what they can do in a short period of time and underestimate what they can do in a long period of time. So make sure you are factoring in the amount of time that you're giving yourself to achieve things, and don't make a plan to make yourself be Superman or Superwoman and try to do everything in one day when you know it's probably not gonna work out that way. Don't set yourself up to fail. Point number three, follow the damn plan. This is a discipline where you will get the actual results, and make sure you are not doing any black operations, meaning stepping outside of the plan and doing something that's not in the plan, especially if you have other people working with you, because that will confuse them and it can lower morale. Have people saying, all right, well, the plan must not matter because here's the boss, the person in charge, they're not following the plan. Why do I have to follow the plan? So make sure if there's a plan in place, you follow it. And if you need to add something to the plan, then add it to the plan. Don't just go work on something silently on the side and not be focused on the plan, because again, your team is going to be confused. And if you confuse people, usually when people are confused, they do nothing, or they just leave from doing what they were doing with you and go find someone who actually is sticking to the plan. Work on your game. Dre all day.